Hello, everyone, and welcome back to AI for the Humanities. I'm Meghan McInnis-Domínguez, Associate Professor of Spanish at the University of Delaware, and this channel is all about exploring the intersection of generative AI and humanities education, examining both the exciting possibilities and questions we should be asking as scholars and educators. Today, I'm delighted to reintroduce you to my intern, Zoe Rawheiser. She's been diving deep into Perplexity AI, looking at how its unique focus searches and specialized features can aid in research and learning in the humanities. Whether you're curious about advanced web searches, academic queries, writing assistance, or simply exploring new AI tools, Zoe has some valuable insights and demonstrations to share. Let's get started and see what Perplexity can do for us.
Welcome back to AI for the Humanities, your go-to resource for exploring the intersection of generative AI and humanities education. I'm Zoe Rawheiser, a student at the University of Delaware, studying Perplexity AI under the guidance of Professor Meghan McInnis-Domínguez. Today, we'll be delving deeper into the capabilities of Perplexity and how to effectively use the tool in the humanities context. As a quick recap of our previous video on Perplexity, there's a difference between pro search and quick search. So today I'll be focusing more on the quick search aspect, so not using pro as there's limited searches for non-pro subscribers. But in general, pro search is going to give you a bit more detail and a bit longer of a response with more information and more complex links with perhaps more reputable sources, while quick search is still going to give you quality searches, just in a more regular sense without as much of a focus. Another point of interest for this is that Perplexity previously offered 5 pro searches per day for non-subscribers, and that's been reduced to 3. So there's a guess that it might lead to a exclusively pro search option with subscribers, but for right now, it's still available at 3 searches per day. So today we'll be going into the focus features of Perplexity and the different capabilities of it as you see on the interface, and we'll be going into each detail, and I'll be giving you a demo of each with a search as an example. All right, let's get started. All right, so here is Perplexity AI. If you simply use it as your main search engine, this is what would pop up. If you search for it in a regular search engine, this is the main homepage of Perplexity. So the different capabilities under the focus feature. So focus is this little tab right here. You click on it and you have all of the different options. So you have web, academic, math, writing, video, social, and then a university specific option that'll sort of focus onto just information provided by your or a specific university. So I'll be going into each of these in a bit more detail. First is web, and web is basically just the regular search option. So if you were just to type in anything without having a focus feature, web is the initial option. So it's going to be more generic. There's going to be just for regular searches, and it's automatic when you're opening the browser. So I've already demoed this in the previous video, but we can put in a search for an example. So let's say, can't spell. What are the reasons for butterfly migration? Also cannot spell. Butterfly migration. So the answer gives you multiple different options. Perplexity, like I mentioned before, loves their lists. You have the cited sources at the end of each point, and you yourself as the user can check them and verify them for their authenticity. It gives you all the details, and it's a quick summary. It's not anything too in-depth. You can ask follow-up questions down at the bottom if you have any more queries that you're interested in, or if you wanted it to delve into a bit more about a specific topic. So in a regular search, you could add another one to the bottom of this, but it would be more building off of the previous search. If you want a new search, you go to build a new thread up here, or you could go home and it would just bring you to the same page. So a new thread would be a new question. And with this, you can still have a different focus tab. So we went over web, then you have academic. So as it says, it searches for published academic papers. So this would include journals, publications, articles, etc. And it's probably better for more academic searches in general because it has more reputable searches, but the only source that it really ties to is Semantic Scholar, which is an AI-powered research tool for scientific literature. So it does pull in our academic articles, but it's all out of this one source. So it's not like it's going to JSTOR or Nextlexis or anything like that. It's just Semantic Scholar. And we can give an example of this. So because I'm an international relations major and I have a lot of humanities-based classes, I'm going to come up with a bit of a academic question for that. So let's say, what are the implications of neoliberal economic theory, Latin American countries, development towards a stronger democracy. All right. All right, so under academic search, there were other examples when I did this another time that there were connected sources, and it seems for this that it's just taken information from academic sources and compiled it without citing it properly. So this is clearly a bit of a difference in terms of accuracy and verification. There's still a lot of information. It provides orderly and concise answers. This is a somewhat longer answer compared to many of the other answers that you might get, but it has a lot of information in it and it's helping you in answering your question. So say I wanted sources for this, maybe let's ask a follow-up and see what happens. So can you, because it is a chat bot. All right, so when asked to provide sources, it didn't exactly input them into the text as other searches might have. It added them to the bottom. So in other searches, it was just from Semantic Scholar. And then for this, it was a compiled list. And I personally haven't verified that any of these sources actually exist. But as far as I know, it is pretty strong in being able to come up with real sources through this like generative process. All right, so after another search, we found that there's still no in-text sources. So academic search might be helpful for providing information in a general sense of knowing what information's out there, perhaps published and in articles, but without those links, unfortunately. So better maybe for a brainstorming process or for quick information on more complex subjects. But I don't think that a lot of humanities studies or majors would necessarily benefit from not having these sources that are unverified. All right, so let's go to the next tab on the thing. So let's go to math. So math, as it says here, it solves equations and finds numerical answers. This can probably be used for some financial-based questions, any sort of math homework type questions, any complex math problems. So let's search because I haven't had a math class in a minute. So let's come up with something for it to answer. So let's say, what is the value of x when 5x minus 4 equals 16. So as you can see, the main source is Wolfram Alpha, which is another calculating website that is used to solve math problems. So what we have here is it gives you the answer and then gives you a step-by-step guide to solving it. So in other times when I did input problems like this, it would just give you the answer and you would have to ask a follow-up. So clearly Perplexity is learning very quickly in terms of how to best provide answers for math problems, I suppose. If this was maybe a more complex problem, it might be a bit different, but this is the main overview of math. It'll solve your problem and it prompted or even in the main thing, it will explain it and go through the process with you. Fabulous. So the next one is writing. So this will just generate text or chat without searching the web. So it's the same thing almost as in the sense of the academic writing that we went over before. You put in a prompt and rather than using web information, it will generate it. So this is what ChatGPT is like in a sense. All right, so without using the internet, let's ask a question. So could be of any subject, anything, because it's just going to generate subject matter for you to read. So let's say, let's fix some of these spelling errors and search. So as you can see, there is no sources because there is no web search going on, but it does provide a written form. It's, as I said, a 500-word summary. It won't provide those same lists because I asked for it not to. So it'll provide you the answer with great detail, focusing on characters and breaking it down into each specific literary device based on what my prompt was, but it will break it down to be in the subjects that is part of your query. Alrighty, video. So this is basically a tool for you to be able to input some sort of specific subject that you want and find videos that are on that subject. This might be helpful if, like, for students or for anyone that wants to find visual content on a certain subject that might explain things easier or provide some background context going on in a video form. So the main source that they'll use for this is YouTube, and they won't necessarily go to websites of things or web organizations that have videos on their website. It'll mostly focus on just YouTube because there's just so much video content on that source. So let's search. So as you can see, there's a lot of sources. So far, as you can see, all of them are from YouTube. Different people on YouTube, but the main outlet for video content is going to be on YouTube for these types of searches. So it'll provide you still a summary of the information that will be in these videos. So you don't necessarily have to watch all of these videos, which might be helpful for students that don't have so much time to watch a video, but also just want a summary, or anyone. And there's the links to the sources, the video specifically, and there's varied sources. As you can see, there's 8 of them already in this one answer. It provides a lot of information, breaks it down easily. They love their lists. Yeah. So to go to the next option is social. So searching for discussions and opinions. So the most likely source that you're going to get out of this is Reddit, just because there's so many forums going on of discussion online. So if you wanted to find out reactions to a specific news article or news event, if you wanted to know about the ongoings within a certain subject or community, this is the place that it will find the information you're looking for in a quick search. So you can also look up answers to online discussions or sort of controversial subjects, and it'll come up with those discussions. So one of the things that might be a good thing to test it with is one of those online hot debates on, is water wet? Or is hot dog a sandwich? Or things like that. As you can see, there's a lot of discussion online about these sorts of things. So it breaks it down into the two different, not even two different, the different viewpoints of, is water wet? Scientific perspective, defining things, summary of opinions, and in a quick summary, it'll give you the whole overview of numerous different discussions on a subject. As I mentioned, you can also use this to look up reactions to a news event. So say you wanted to know something about what the president said, or about a controversial act completed by a political figure or a scientific community or anything. You can search it, and there's almost a guaranteed discussion going on about it on some online forum. And lastly, we have, actually not lastly, but of the focus features lastly, we have the university specific option. So I'm not sure what it's like for users that do not have a university email linked to their account. But for me, being a student of the University of Delaware, and I'm assuming that this happens with other universities as well, if you were to use the university focused feature, it would take information specifically from the university website. So there will be other sources brought in for clarification, but for the most part, the source of all of the queries that you put in is going to be based off of that specific university. So for an example, if I wanted to know about what are the available and university specific, so study abroad trips in spring 2025. University of Delaware is known for its study abroad. So there's going to be a bunch of sources. As you can see, there are other sources pulled into it. So award-winning study abroad programs and other universities as well. JMU looks like that was pulled into it. But because I didn't specify the University of Delaware, knowing that I am using a University of Delaware email, it'll focus on the University of Delaware. So you have all of the different study abroad programs, numerous as they are, and there are other locations not mentioned, as they say, and there's additional information. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a search, same as a regular web search, but university specific. Now, we've gone through all of the focus features. So as you can see, we've gone through all of these 7 features. There is other options. So as we mentioned, there is a pro, but there is also an attach. So what this does, you have 3 per day, and you can pick a document from your computer or whatever drive that you have with all of your documents. You can find an example of something, say a reading or an article that has been published that you've downloaded. You can use it to summarize or even specify information within a document without having to read that document specifically. So say you have a 40-page article, and in my instance, I would think you would have it for a class. You need to read 40 pages in 2 days, and you have other work to do. It'll save time by attaching this document. It'll give you a summary of it, while also you can ask questions about more details of what does it say about this? How does it approach this? Those sorts of questions. All right, so after a bunch of scrolling between all of my documents that I have on my computer from school, let's take this specific article. It's on the Mexican Revolution. Let's say, without any search, just attaching it, what does it do? So the only source is going to be that article, and all of the information is summarized for you. So it takes time away from having to sit down and read and makes it much more accessible, especially if it's complex subjects. It might break it down for you a bit easier. So as you can see, there's each of the subjects within the article are discussed, summarized, again, the lists. So it will be document specific, and based off of the history, political science based article, it gives all of this information, providing key details, and you can ask follow-up questions if you need more clarification or if you want more information on a specific subject. However, you could also just read the article. So it depends on how you want to use it, and it's up to the user's choice, really. All right. So these are the main features of Perplexity. We've gone through the focus features and the attach. We went over the pro in the previous video. There are other options. So there's the discover page, which is sort of a news feed in a sense, where it provides articles on various different subjects. You can make it yours. You can tailor it to your interests. So it doesn't necessarily only come up with scientific or AI-based articles. It'll also have other news articles. And there's also Spaces. So Spaces is somewhat new. There is a Learn More that has a video that you can watch that'll summarize how to use it. It basically acts as a platform where you can share with others information that is involved in a search. So you can save a search that you've done, all the information is provided, the sources, you can input / attach sources, and it'll use that in its response, and you can share with others whatever answers have been generated. These might be helpful for any projects or general studies. And the library here on the side, no matter what, is just going to have your list of previous searches. All right, so as we've gone over, there's a lot of different contexts and uses for Perplexity in the humanities in general. So there is some potential downsides to the use of it. As we've gone over in some of the focus mode aspects, there's not the use of cited sources. They can exclude specific other sources. So for the video context, you only have YouTube, which can exclude some of the more organizationally focused websites. There's also Reddit posts are the only outlet for that, sort of excluding other blogs or forum websites. Similarly, there are summaries of the documents that you upload, or even if in your prompts there's summaries of the documents that are convenient, but they don't provide the same details or examples that the documents themselves hold. So it may make for a quick solution to having a time crunch per se, but and it might make learning easy, but it's not really the same quality of learning as, say, reading the document yourself and absorbing that yourself. All right, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again in our next video for AI for the humanities.
That wraps up our in-depth look at Perplexity AI's capabilities and how they can support research and creative projects in humanities. A huge thank you to Zoe for sharing her experiences and walking us through the platform's various modes, everything from academic searches to PDF-based summaries, and even the collaborative Spaces feature. As always, it's important to balance convenience with critical thinking. Perplexity can yield compelling summaries and specialized searches, but it's still up to us to engage deeply with our sources, interrogate the perspectives we find, and maintain academic rigor. Thanks for joining us today on AI for the Humanities. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you'll never miss our next exploration into generative AI. Until next time, I'm Meghan McInnis-Domínguez, wishing you continued curiosity and insightful scholarship.
We gather data from every page, translating archives across the age. Circuits hum in synergy, a brand new path for curiosity, where knowledge grows and questions thrive. We stand on the edge, keeping truth alive. Between old words and brand new code, we learn from both what stories unfold. From literary tomes to the comment threads, we sift for meaning through what's been said. In equations or in lines of prose, each answer sparks the next door that opens. Oh, keep your mind wide open, because humanity is never done hoping. digests. Where knowledge grows and questions thrive, we stand on the edge, keeping truth alive. Between old words and brand new code, we learn from both what stories unfold. Scholarship, even as machines assist our grip. The spark of wonder lights the way, combining reason and empathy each day. Where knowledge grows and questions thrive, we stand on the edge, keeping truth alive. Between old words and brand new code, we learn from both what stories unfold. We hold the heart of scholarship, even as machines assist our grip. The spark of wonder lights the way, combining reason and empathy each day.